Welcome back to Mandy. What we're about to watch is a parole hearing for an habitual offender with a long list of nonviolent crimes. Some of you may have seen this, or at least a part of it. It was broken up into two parts. This was an early upload, and only about 200 views for part two. So I've merged it into one full hearing. So most of you haven't yet seen it. But anyways, with that, let's jump in. Oh, please don't forget to like and subscribe.
Good morning. The Committee on Parole is called to order. Today is the 27th day of October, 2022. The time is 8:31. Panel members today, to my left are Ms. Cheryl Renaxa, to my right, Mr. Pete Freeman. My name is Tony Marabella. I'll be acting as chair today. With the staff located here in Baton Rouge at DOC headquarters, please introduce yourselves. Thank you. Our remote location this morning is in Plaquemines Parish. With the staff at Plaquemines Parish, please introduce themselves.
Yes, I am Lieutenant Tenser from Plaquemines Parish.
Thank you, Lieutenant. Our first case today is going to be Mr. Edwin Baptiste. Mr. Baptiste, present, Lieutenant?
Yes, sir, he's right here.
Baptiste, would you please give me your full name and DOC number?
Good morning, my name is Edwin Baptiste. My DOT number is 467-679.
Mr. Baptiste, let me explain our process to you. First, I'm going to read some information into the record. And then the board is going to conduct a parole interview with you. At the appropriate time, we'll allow the participants who've indicated they wish to have some input to speak. Your attorney, Ms. Grace Bronson, is here. Ms. Bronson, if you would introduce yourself, please.
Good morning, board. My name is Grace Bronson, representing Edwin Baptiste.
Thank you. And also your cousin, Ms. Trishelle Johnson, is here and will be speaking on your behalf as well. At the end of that, you'll be allowed to make a brief statement to the board if you wish to. And after that, your lawyer, I assume, wants to close out and will give us the closing argument. And then the board will vote. Do you understand our process, sir?
Yes, sir.
This is the matter of Edwin D. Baptiste, Jr., date of birth, May 24th of 1982. He's a fourth felony offender. He has an adjusted good time date of January the 31st of 2030. He is currently serving a 15-year sentence on the charges of possession with intent to distribute heroin, attempted possession with intent to distribute heroin, where he was adjudicated a habitual offender, distribution of heroin, possession of heroin, possession of methamphetamines, as well as attempted possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, possession of heroin, and possession of MDMA, okay. And possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. All of those, is that all correct, Mr. Baptiste?
Yes, sir, it is.
Mr. Baptiste, your case has been assigned to me, so I'll be the one that initiates our interview process. So if you have any trouble hearing me, let me know. Or if you don't understand my question, please let me know, because it's important that we get as much information from you as we possibly can. Okay?
Yes, sir.
How old are you, Mr. Baptiste?
I'm 40 years old.
And how long have you been in prison on these charges?
3 years. 3 years, sir.
And you're serving a 15-year sentence?
Yes, sir.
Tell me a little bit about your educational background. How far did you go to school in school?
I graduated from high school. I also have a year of college.
Tell me a little bit about your work history on the outside. What kind of work did you do, if any, on the outside?
I was a hazardous waste. I worked an EPA contractor for NASA. I do construction. I done did lead abatement, asbestos abatement. A certified carpenter. I work with my uncle who has a construction company. I know how to operate heavy equipment.
Those sound like pretty good trades. Did you work long in those industries?
Yes, sir. Most of the jobs are contract. So, when one's finished, we'll go to the next.
Did you make decent money?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Tell me a little bit about your family. You have children?
Yes, sir. I have two sons, which one's 17, one's 12, and I have a daughter that's 10. My
And
son,
when you were on the outside, where'd they live? Who'd they live with?
they live with their mother, but they'll be, we have joint custody.
So you would see them on a regular basis?
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, it sounds like you've got good education. You graduated from high school. You did a little bit of college. You've got some good training, some good skills, and some good industries. Why the crime? Why the drug dealing? Why go into that? Explain to me why.
To be honest, going down the wrong road, negative peers, trying to provide for my family the wrong way, which I knew wasn't the right way. Just being a follower, Your Honor.
Tell me what you've done while you've been in prison to help you out.
I've been taking any and all self-help programs and classes. I completed Thank You for a Change, which is a cognitive behavioral therapy.
Tell me about Thank You for a Change. What did you learn there that you didn't realize before?
I learned that if I wanted to be prosperous and productive, I need to change my people, places, and things. I learned about my integrity, changed my emotion, my feelings, my thoughts. It just showed me that it's another way to be a productive member of society.
What other courses have you taken that have helped you?
I took Malachi's Dad, which is a parenting class for men. It taught me biblical advice for life, healthy marriages, relationships, good fathering. It also it just gave me advice to lead by example for my kids. I have a 17-year-old son who's about to graduate high school, and I want to be in their life. I have two boys that are getting old. It taught me how to be a good father, good role model.
A little bit about your drug and alcohol use. You a drug addict?
No, I am not, Your Honor.
Have you ever been a drug addict?
No, Your Honor. My problem is I touch too much. I'm more touching. I'm socially drinking with my family. That's about it.
What about drugs?
No, Your Honor. I'm not a drug addict.
Have you ever done drugs?
Socially, probably
What do you mean
marijuana.
social? Tell me a little.
When I was young, I probably smoked marijuana before. That's about it.
But what about all these other charges? Heroin, MDMA, all of the drugs that you had. You're just a drug dealer?
Yes, Your Honor. Be honest.
So you never had a drug problem at all?
No, Your Honor.
Why did you go through Steve Hoyle?
Well, to get the good time and to learn to be a better member of society.
When was the last time you did any kind of drugs?
Been years, like talking about years since I was young. I was a teenager.
So you have children who are 17, 12, and 10.
Yes, Your Honor.
What would you do to someone that you met, let's say in prison or anywhere else, who you learned was selling heroin to your children, your 17-year-old, your 12-year-old, and your 10-year-old? one of them overdosed, what would you do? How would you feel about it?
I would be devastated, Your Honor.
So what have you learned about your drug deal while you've been in prison? You've taken a lot of programs. You've talked to me a little bit about how you've changed a little bit, but what do you think your drug dealing and what you have done and how much devastation you have probably caused to so many people, what do you think the effect is on their lives?
Well, Your Honor, I want to be honest. That was the wrong thing to do. You know, I should have just got a job. I know I probably affected a lot of families. I want to take accountability for that. And I apologize to those families. Just went down the wrong road, Your Honor.
You know, Mr. Baptiste, as I look at your record and I came here, I expected you to tell me, you know, I have a drug problem. I've gone to Steve Hoyle. I've taken a lot of programs. I've kind of kicked that. I know how I'm going to stay sober now. But now I'm hearing, you know, you're just a drug dealer. And that's a much more significant concern to me because you were out on parole when you committed these crimes, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
So tell me why I should take a chance today on you. I mean, my mindset today was, I want to hear this man explain to me how he's going to stay sober. He's taken Cadillac of programs that we've got, and he's going to sit here and let me see. The DA's objection is you need long-term substance abuse treatment. They say you need to go to Steve Hoyle, which of course you've already gone to. So tell me why I should take a chance on you. You're not a drug addict. That's not something that was affecting you as you were out there committing crimes. And you were dealing heroin and horrible drugs to a lot of people. And we don't know if anybody died as a result of your drug use. So why should I take a chance?
Well, Your Honor, you should take a chance on me because when I committed those crimes, I was just making the wrong decisions, trying to provide for my family. I'm not a bad person. I was just making bad choices and bad decisions. You know, with time with my incarceration, during my incarceration, I had help and therapy to change my past related behaviors.
Well, let me slow you down. Didn't you go through Steve Hoyle before you were released the last time?
Yes, I went through Stephen Hoyle in, I think,
2018.
yes, sir, Your Honor, 2008.
And you got out, you got rearrested in 2019.
Right, Your Honor.
So you went through the best program that we got that explained to you all of the hazards of drugs, all of the things that happen to people who do drugs and the dangers it causes. And you go back out there and you still selling drugs.
Well, this time, Your Honor, I want to be honest. When I came back to jail this time, Jefferson Parish said that I owed them time. I didn't come back to jail for drugs again. When I got released and I came back to jail for a firearm, Jefferson Parish said that I owed them time from 2015 to 2017. I didn't come to jail on a new.
You came to jail for what this last time? Guns?
Yes, Your Honor.
Don't you know that you can't possess a gun as a convicted felon?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Dealing with a gun.
I had just been shot and I was scared. I was in my house. I wasn't like roaming around the streets or anything with it. I couldn't walk or anything when my parole officer came to saw me. She saw the firearm.
Have you ever taken any courses having to do with drug dealing, like Drug Dealers Anonymous, victim awareness, anything like that, that would give you some knowledge about what dangers you have caused to people?
Well, I don't think they have that here. The only, program I think they have here is,
I'm not asking you what they have there. I'm asking you, have you taken any of those?
no, but I would take it. If you grant it to me upon my release or anything, I would take it. I would take any counseling. I have counseling set up for me upon my release to keep my change and my therapy motivated so I can get my life together.
You are a fifth felony offender, is that right? 5 convictions for felonies, is that right?
I'm a fourth offender, Your Honor.
You're a medium risk. Have you ever had any trauma? I've looked at your record, and there's a suggestion, or at least a evaluation, that you may have some sort of post-traumatic stress syndrome, PTSD. Have you ever been diagnosed with that? Have you ever had any sort of mental health treatment to determine whether or not you've had any sort of trauma in your life that has caused some mental health issues for you?
Yes, I do. And upon my incarceration, I talk to a mental health doctor once a week. I tried to get all the best help that I could. You hear me?
When was that on your incarceration? This time or
This
previous?
this time,
Okay.
his name
Are
is,
you still seeing a mental health counselor?
yes, John. I see him every Friday. His name is Dr. Travis Johnson. He
Okay.
he also wrote me a letter.
I saw his letter.
Yeah, I see him I talk to him about my me losing my mother at a young age, me being shot, me being away from my kids, me being away from my family, me getting my life together. You know, I'm getting old, Your Honor, and I'm losing my family members, and I really want to get my life together.
Are you on any sort of medication right now?
No, I am not, Your Honor.
Have you been on any sort of medication?
No, I'm not, Your Honor.
Do you know,
I
you
just,
said you were shot. When did you get shot?
I got shot August of 2019. I was getting a ride home with a friend, and we were bringing my son home, and I don't know what he had going on, anything. I was getting a ride to bring my son home, and the car got shot up.
You know, Mr. Baptiste, in looking at Dr. Johnson's treatment schedule, he discusses, and this is, again, you threw me for a loop when we first started talking. He said he reported a history of substance abuse related behaviors. And then he goes on to discuss things that you need to do to make sure that there's no relapse prevention, which means not going back to drugs. But you're telling me you don't do drugs. So I'm confused.
Yeah, when he said substance abuse, things we talk about was like ways that I could stay away from drugs, like changing my people I hang with, the neighborhoods I go in, like things of that sort.
Staying away from drugs in what respect? This is to stay away from drugs so you don't deal them, so you don't get you don't get to where you want to deal drugs, or because you don't want to use drugs?
Both, just staying away from it, just changing my life, Your Honor. Staying away from, I don't want to deal drugs.
Because I've got your supporters telling me how much you've done in the substance abuse area.
All right.
How you're clean now and you've got a good sobriety plan, and your doctor is saying you've got substance abuse issues and he's working with you on relapse prevention. But you're telling me I'm not a drug addict. I never did drugs. I smoked a little marijuana, but that's not a problem for me.
Okay, Your Honor.
You sticking with the story? You ain't got a drug problem?
No, I understand where you're going. I have, you can say I have substance abuse related problems. I understand what you're saying, Your Honor.
Well, why did you tell me a few minutes ago you don't?
my problem was it's just negative peer, association. And I'm
Well, what did those negative peers and those associations lead you to do?
being around drugs.
And using them.
You're right, John.
You blaming all these other people, but it might be true. You were hanging with the wrong people. You had all kinds of temptation, but you were using drugs. No?
Yes, John.
Well, how often were you using drugs? Now, be honest with me. How often were you using drugs?
Daily, weekly. I was just being with the wrong crowd. If you can help me sentence me to substance.
Can I help you, Mr. Baptiste, when you don't even admit you have a problem? You've done some wonderful things in terms of substance abuse. It looks like on paper, you've got a good plan to stay sober. But you tell me, I ain't got a sober, I ain't got a drug issue. That tells me that you're in denial. And if that's the case, you're gonna go right back out, follow the same pattern.
I'm not.
So why wouldn't you come to me and you've got a very good lawyer who I know has advised you to be honest with that board.
I am being honest, John. I really want to change. I have counseling set up for upon my release. I really want to get my life together, John.
So what do you intend on doing to stay sober? What's your plan to stay sober?
I have counseling set up for upon my release. I want to go to programs.
What kind of program?
NA meetings.
Why is NA and AA meetings important to you?
Because I want to change my life and get my life together, Jan. I have 17-year-old son that I want to lead by example for him. He's transitioning, becoming a young adult. I have a 12-year-old son, and at the rate the world is going, I really want to be out there to guide him in the right, positive, productive future.
Tell me a little bit about your disciplinary record. Have you had any write-ups since you've been in prison this time?
I've been incarcerated 3 years, John. I don't have any write-ups.
What's your transition plan? Where are you going to live at?
I'll be living with my sister in Slidell, Louisiana. And upon my release, I'm a certified carpenter. I want to sign up for the Carpenters Union. I'm going to start working with BNS, leveling and renovating. I have an aunt that has Bell's palsy. I want to be able to help her. I want to do more family-oriented things with my family. I want to spend more quality time with my kids. I'm talking about donuts for dads, school drop-offs, pickups, chaperones. I'm really trying to change, John.
Lieutenant, what can you tell us about Mr. Baptiste?
Huh? You talking to the guard?
Yes, is he still in there?
Stepped out. I could get him. He's right there. Lieutenant Kenton. He want to talk.
And Mr. Marabella, his cousin got kicked off. I think she's in the waiting room to come back on.
Okay, we'll get her in just a second. We'll try to get her back.
Thank you.
We'll go ahead and let's go ahead and hear from Ms. Trishelle Johnson. Ms. Johnson? Tell us what you'd like to tell us about your cousin. If you would please introduce yourself and just tell us what you'd like us to hear. You're on mute, man. We can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am, we can. Thank you.
Trishelle Johnson, Edwin's Baptiste cousin. Edwin and I became very close after his mom passed away at a very young age. And Edwin was forced to grow up real fast. He tried to provide for him and his siblings. That didn't work. At some point, they all were split up. Edwin is a great father. He's a loving person. He was very great to me. He helped me with my daughter as growing up. She used to help her with her homework. I always depended on Edwin for holidays, on Christmas specifically. He would help me assemble her toys. He was great at putting things together, great with his hands. Just wanted to support him today to let everyone know that he does have family. He has people that loves him. And we would support him upon his return, making sure he is stable, hold him accountable for his actions, and make sure he's on the right path. His kids, they always look forward to seeing him on weekends when he had him. He would have activities, he would plan picnics and things. So he's a great father and they're missing out on him. So I just hope that you guys consider him coming home, preferably to be with his young boys. They need a father figure, that role model in their life. Yeah, he made a lot of mistakes. Quite sure he's not perfect. However, I think he has been rehabilitated and understands the mistakes that he made and knows that it was wrong. And he does have trauma at losing his mom at a very young age. And he tried to keep his siblings together. They were all split up, living with different family members. And I hope he gets a second chance, and myself will personally be monitoring and making sure he's on the right path.
Thank you very much, Ms. Johnson. We appreciate your comments. Here's the lieutenant. Here's the lieutenant. Lieutenant, what can you tell us about Mr. Baptiste?
Well, since he's been here under my supervision, I haven't had any incidents with him. He has been a model inmate as far as I have seen, and I have no problem with it.
Thank you very much, Lieutenant. We appreciate your comments. Any questions? Mr. Baptiste, is there anything you'd like to say before we turn it over to Ms. Bronson to close out?
Yes, Your Honor. I want to say thank y'all for giving me this opportunity to get another chance with my family and my kids. I want to hold accountability for the things that I did. I was going through a lot, and I knew it wasn't the right thing to do. I'm just going to be honest and say that I am motivated to change. I'm driven, I'm dedicated, I'm disciplined, and I want a better life. I want to be a productive member of society. I have, older family members that really need me, and I had selfish ways and insanity doing through the same old things over and over and over. But this time, Your Honor, I promise you, I'm disciplined to change. I'm doing everything I can to change my life and do the right things, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Baptiste. We appreciate your comments. Ms. Bronson?
Good morning. Thank you all for having us this morning. It's my pleasure to represent Mr. Baptiste. I'm a recent graduate of Loyola and just was admitted to the bar, so this is my first parole hearing. So it's great to be here representing Mr. Baptiste. We've been working a lot, and I've talked to him and his family a lot over the last few months, and have really dug into some of his past and his family history, as well as just understanding when he comes home, the support that he has. And he has, and Ms. Trishelle is representing them today, but a lot of his family are working multiple jobs and have careers, supporting their families in legal ways. And the ways that we've talked about with Mr. Baptiste and his decisions of going and dealing drugs, most of his criminal history, as I know that is the board's concern, that this isn't his first rodeo, and going back and forth, him not just making a mistake, but being able to, at this point in his life, understanding what those past transgressions have meant to him and his family. And Mr. Marabella, I understand that the concern is this repeated behavior and his maybe lack of understanding of substance abuse, and it not necessarily being his own use recently, but his history and involvement with substances, including the way that it affects his community, his family, and himself. And I know that we talked about those aspects of his offense as well as his priors. I think since he has been incarcerated this time, I really feel like there is a difference that has come about for Mr. Edwin. He is able to pinpoint moments in his life. He's able to understand the ways that substances have played into it. And although he had opportunities before, he didn't have this carpentry training. He said that he kind of bounced around to different contract jobs. But since being in Plaquemines and in this facility, we submitted a bunch of letters, including from the warden and his instructors. And he's built bookshelves and chairs. He helps trustees. He repairs stuff around the prison and goes above and beyond while he's been inside. He was denied last year in December. And the board was concerned about his criminal history and also about his programming. And he took that very seriously and enrolled in multiple programs, including the ones he named, as well as the past ones for substance abuse. And as he kind of alluded to, he's not, this charge in particular doesn't have him reincarcerated for drug abuse or drug dealing. These are past charges. And so he took those substance abuse classes, as you said, and it is the best programming. And he does have all of that knowledge and understanding, which is why he wants to continue in his counseling, which is why he's always continued to talk to Mr. Johnson throughout his incarceration, to deeply understand that. And so I think that his motivation is different now, and he's able to contextualize his offense while also having a really strong reentry plan and joining the union and having this trade that is actually something, including going to truck driving school, which is a high need, as we know right now. And all of that is set up for him, as well as his sister, who lives in Slidell, which is outside of New Orleans, and she owns her own house, has an extra bedroom for him. He'll have his own space, as well as a dedicated relationship to his children. They couldn't be here because they're in school, but they all really, really miss him, and he has been active and present in their lives. And his son is graduating high school this year, and to be able to be there in that moment for this young man, to not end up in the same patterns and mistakes that Mr. Batiste has found himself in, based on his life and trauma and the ways and things that he has lived through. Whether he wanted to expose all of those today, the death of his mother, Hurricane Katrina, was right around the time of his first offense that he was released on, and then was reincarcerated due to dealing drugs. And it's very clear, and I'm sure to the board, of his criminal history, what that pattern is. And I'm very confident today, and hope that the board can see through his rehabilitation that he's moving further and further away from that, towards being a productive member of society with skills, family support, a positive reentry plan, and continued treatment for his release. So thank you for your time today and having me on here and representing Mr. Batiste. That's all.
Thank you very much. You did an excellent job, Ms. Bronson, for your first hearing. So thank you very much. Is that ready?
Yes.
Mr. Batiste,
Yes, Your Honor.
be honest with you, your interview with me today, wasn't very good. I'm not sure if you were just trying to BS me or want to downplay your drug use or what. I'm not sure. I'm not sure that that has something to do with perhaps some of the mental health issues that you were working on. You do seem to have changed your patterns since you went through Steve Hoyle, even though you got rearrested for the gun charge. You have, your lawyer has filed a number of letters, a letter from your sister, a letter from a friend, a letter from the CEO of Enhanced Destiny Services, the warden from Plaquemines Parish Sheriff's Office, the case manager at Plaquemines Parish Detention Center, Mr. Johnson, Dr. Johnson, a report he filed, who is the reentry treatment provider, and also Mr. Chris Kendrick. They all speak very highly of what you've done while you've been there. So this is a hard decision. On the one hand, I'm thinking you need some more work. On the other hand, it sounds like you're doing very well. You've only been in jail for 3 years on a 15-year sentence. But it seems like while you've been in prison this time, for sure, you've come around. You've turned a corner.
I am, Your Honor. Trying hard, Your Honor.
I'm not sure exactly where you are on your substance abuse, whether you accept the fact that you've got a substance abuse problem. You talk a good talk about what you're going to do. You're going to go to AA meetings. You're going to do things like that. It sounds like you've got good support. Mr. Baptiste, I'm willing to take a chance on you. My vote is going to be to grant your parole with the following special conditions. Number one, that you get a mental health evaluation and follow whatever treatment Dr. Travis can continue to work with you or help you get that. I want you to follow whatever recommendations there are. I want you to attend 3 AA meetings per week.
Okay.
I want a curfew from 6 p.m. to 9 a.m. and I want you to get a job and work. Got good transition plan. You've got a good family behind you. I'm only one vote, but that's my vote.
Okay, Your Honor. Appreciate it.
Good luck to you. Mr. Freeman?
Mr. Baptiste, I have the same concerns as Mr. Marabella. What you mainly need to realize with your offender class, you get busted again, you're probably gonna get life. You're probably gonna get an habitual offender, so. But my vote is gonna be the same, to grant with the same conditions as Mr. Marabella stated earlier. Good luck.
Appreciate it, Your Honor.
Thank you. Yes, sir, Renata?
Thank you. Mr. Baptiste, I agree with my colleagues. My vote today is the same, with the same special conditions. Good luck to you.
Appreciate
Mr.
it.
Baptiste,
Thank you.
I think I misspoke a minute ago. I said you had a curfew from 6 p.m. to 9 a.m. It's actually 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. Okay?
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor.
Good luck to you. It sounds like you've got some good help. Really think about two things. Think about your substance abuse problem and think about what you've done to people in the past by dealing with it. So good luck to you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Hope we never see you again.
You won't. I promise you won't.
All right. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Let's unpack that. I'm surprised. I don't know. The board was in a good mood, I guess. How else do you explain it, really? If for those of you who like the attorney stuff, I'll include it, the links in the description, and also you can click the button somewhere. It's going to pop up soon to recommended upload. So it really is. I'm not going to get. It's not like I'm going to get worked up and say this or that because I'm I'm not emotional about these types of crimes. 15-year sentence as an habitual offender. He's only been locked up 3 years. I mean, it's pretty remarkable that who would have thought when the judge slams his hammer thing down and said 15 years that he could be getting out in 3. And really, he just lied from the outset. And we have not often seen, especially Mr. Marabella, who's run a drug court in his previous life for like 15 years. He does not like it. And we'll see them just shut it down. You start up lying. Go to the court and say, I've never had a drug problem. And they know. And he's just lying. I'm just totally shocked, confused as to why they decided to give major leniency on this. I mean, like complete. Something else very unique. We've had a couple of unique ones. This was her very first case. I know we've gotten rookies who are still in school, but I don't think we've ever had an attorney on their first case. And also, he's had a psychologist, and it wasn't just that he's had one that he's been in prison. He had one before he got locked up. That is very unique. So just by seeing that, unless it was some type, I can't mandate that. I mean, that does show me that here's someone who really understands that they have issues that they want to get through. And I wonder if how is it paid for? I know I've never been. I think therapy is like the most important thing the best gift anyone can give themselves. And it's very expensive. It's very hard to do, but I think it's really important. And the idea that I think I like this view more. The idea that let me know what view you prefer when I'm talking. That and like and subscribe if you're still here. But if he it's like I've just never seen anyone actually have and his mother died when he was young. He's been shot. He for sure does have PTSD. It's great that he's putting in the money and time and effort, even when he got locked up, to still see his doctor every Friday, as he said. I mean, I think that is a really positive sign. But the idea that he was just lying is confusing to me, especially it's like, why? I guess it's understanding the reason why. He would think he's for sure was told by everyone who knew him, just be honest. And he got up there and just wasn't given so many opportunities. So what do you guys think about that? Was he given, I mean, it's so easy. They could have said, you lied and come back. You've only served like 15-year sentence, 3 years. It's like, what is that? 15% of your sentence? I'm not good at math, but anyways, am I harping too much on that? I've just never really seen it, I don't think. But I am happy for him. I do hope that he will do well. I mean, he has done the programs. He does have the skills to succeed. He has the family support. Love to hear his kids seem to be doing great. And hopefully he's old enough and mature enough to get through this. But I am rooting for him. And how do you guys think Grace did on her first hearing? I think if you didn't tell me it was her first hearing, I would have believed that she's been doing this a while. So I think she did great. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. But like they said, if he comes back, if he somehow comes back, I mean, it's no joke. He wasn't like he was just caught. He was caught with a firearm too. I mean, he was back in it. He was back in it dealing. He was probably using a firearm. It's like, it's only been 3 years since then. So, but hopefully he can put his like skills to work. And I'm rooting for him. Let's not see him again, because like they said, he'll get maybe a life sentence, and they're not gonna be so lenient the next time. Love to hear your thoughts, and pick if you want to see another attorney hearing, it's right there.